No small talk. 120 changes coming at your face. Let's go. Sheep now drop cookable mutton when they're killed. Most mobs will now run away right before a creeper's about to explode. Silverfish are no longer constantly on the move. When killed by a charged creeper, zombies now drop zombie heads. Blazes will still try to shoot at you, even if there are blocks between you. Spiders can no longer track you through solid blocks. All mobs glow a slightly different color when they're hit. All wolves will now attack skeletons, and skeletons will also drop their mob head when they're killed by a charged creeper. Tamed dog and cats, when they're killed, if they have a name tag, will now be displayed. When villagers are struck by lightning, they turn into a witch. Slimes and magma cubes can now swim. Endermen now walk slightly faster. Baby animals' growth can now be accelerated by right-clicking with their breeding item. Villagers now have slots for a helmet. When villagers are fed, they want to have babies. They also craft wheat into bread and share it with other villagers. Most mobs are also given really good pathfinding AI. Extremely epic ocean monuments were added to the game. In here, you can find guardians and massive elder guardians. When killed, the guardians are able to drop a variety of fish, as well as prismarine shards and crystals. And the elders will drop a wet sponge. This is the only place in the game to find this, so they're super rare and super sacred. Keep in mind that there are only 3 elder guardians per monument. This place will most likely kill you, but there is a treasure chamber where some really sweet stuff is to be found. The new blocks you can find here include sea lanterns, which work just as well above water, some cracked prismarine bricks, some incredible looking dark tiled prismarine, and prismarine. Yeah, probably one of the best additions to Minecraft in quite a long time. Cute adorable little wabbits were added to the game. God forbid you would ever want to kill one of these things. They're able to drop a rabbit's foot, which can be used in brewing, a rabbit's hide, raw rabbit meat,
and if you kill it with fire,
you get some delicious cooked rabbit. And feel free to make some rabbit stew with the ingredients shown. Rabbits can be bred with carrots, golden carrots, or dandelions, and very occasionally you will run into this absolutely atrocious killer bunny. I'm dead serious. This is really in the game. Back to the rabbit's foot, this can be used to make a potion of leaping that gives you jump boost. Strange tiny mobs called endermites were added to the game. These guys are spawned sometimes when you throw an ender pearl or an enderman teleports away. They don't last too long, lasting about 2 minutes. Of course, unless you slap a name on them. Diorite, andesite, and granite were all added into the game as variants of cobblestone. Very nice looking polished versions of these blocks are also craftable. Coarse dirt was also added, which is slightly darker than regular dirt, and grass will not grow upon this. It has its own crafting recipe, but can also be found in the wild. Red sand was given its stone counterpart, as well as chiseled, smooth, stair, and half slab. Slime blocks are now extremely bouncy. It prevents all fall damage and is really slow to walk on. When connected to a piston, some really cool things happen. They'll also propel mobs as well as players. New fences were added to coincide with their color counterpart, and the same goes for fence gates. And not to even mention the incredible looking doors. An iron trapdoor was also added that can only be controlled through redstone. These very simplistic armor stands were also added, which you can hang your armor on, obviously. These incredible 2-block high banners were also added, and we might actually be here for years if I even tried to explain all of the different combinations you can make.
3 days later.
Now when you create a new world, there is a customize tab where you can make the world infinitely customizable. There are 4 pages of customability and absolutely trillions of possibilities. There are over 50 new splashes. The difficulty is now based on the world instead of a global difficulty, and these can be locked in case you've got some creeping temptations. There's a new skin customization button where you can customize all kinds of things. There's also a couple new shaders, including this spider shader. Does anybody even use these? There's a new achievement for creating an enchanted golden apple. Going back to the sponge that we talked about earlier, these have been in the game for a while obviously, but now they've finally got a use. They suck up a lot of water and they become wet sponges. These can be dried out by simply being put in a furnace and cooked like any other food. The amount of area a sponge can actually soak up is 5 by 5 by 5. A new enchantment called Depth Strider was added to the game. This enchantment can only be added to boots and goes up to level 3. And as most of you could probably have already guessed, it makes you move faster underwater. Pressing F3 and then D will clear the chat. Pressing F3 and S is really laggy, but it clears all the block models and reloads them. This is in case you have some problems loading the world or some kind of chunk error. Holding F3 and B will show you a mob's hitbox, their eye level, and exactly where they're looking. Instead of metadata, internal block handling now uses states. You know what I mean, right? For now, metadata will still be used in the distributed version of the game, but soon, metadata will turn into states, which is a lot better for the game, which might mean more blocks, more textures, more colors, and a lot more customability. There is also a new default female skin or character named Alex.
She's beautiful.
Both arms and legs on skins are independently editable. Your server list is much easier to edit. When you're adding or editing server info, you can now choose whether your server resource packs have to be prompted or they can be enabled or disabled. Both fog and particles were completely removed from the void. Each world now runs on its own thread. Chunk rendering and chunk rebuilding is now multi-threaded, and basically what that means is it's much less strenuous to load chunks. X-ray texture packs and X-ray machines are completely obsolete. This is due to the fact that only transparent blocks are now rendered as transparent. In Enchanting is now much cheaper, but you still need the minimum amount of levels required for that enchantment. There is also a material cost, which will cost some lapis lazuli. In turn, leveling up takes quite a bit longer than it used to. Villagers now have an occupation, which you can see at the top of the window. There are 11 different kinds of villagers, and obviously this decides the type of loot that they sell. They can also level up, which gives you more trades. Along with all of this, you actually get experience as well for trading. There is a new spectator mode in which you can clip with blocks, and you can right click on players to see exactly what they are seeing. In adventure mode, blocks will no longer have a hitbox if you cannot interact with them. There's a new animation on the hit bar for taking damage. It shows you exactly how many hearts you lose for taking whatever damage you just took. In creative mode, sprinting and then flying will now actually make you fly faster. Chiseled stone bricks can now be crafted with 2 stone brick slabs. Smelting stone bricks will now give you cracked stone bricks. Mossy stone can now also be crafted by combining cobblestone and vines. And the same goes for mossy stone bricks by combining stone bricks with vines as well. When stained glass is put above an illuminated beacon, it now gives the color of that glass to the beam. Items in an item frame can now face 8 total directions. Dispensers can now be used to put pumpkins on wither skeletons or snowmen. Why would you want to put a pumpkin on a wither? You know what I mean. Buttons can now be placed on the ceiling and the ground. That was like 120, right? Honestly though, there's more than 100 changes that I did not name. I just named the ones that I thought were the most important and the most intriguing. 1.8 was a huge update spanning over 300 days between 1.7.2, so yeah. There we go. I had a bunch of requests to do this, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I really do. It took me a lot of time, and I love you. I really do. I hope you guys continue watching. I'm Unhost. You guys have a great rest of the day. Cowabunga. See you guys later. Have a good one. Adios.